Well, we're taking these baby steps into summer this year. Thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook for Wednesday, the 24th of May. I say baby steps because the high so far this year has only been just over 23 Celsius. It looks as if we are going to kind of hover around that range over the next few days. There is some subtle indications that we may see something a little bit warmer as we go into the first week of meteorological summer. But before we continue with the video, please share with your friends and family, and hit that subscribe button. There is a lot of content I have on offer. Check out the summer forecast newly released on marfoganweather.com. There is a lot of detail in that with regards to the June through August period and what I expect to take place this upcoming summer season. This was the scene captured over the Black Isle last night, almost spaceship-like cloud structures. And these are actually lenticular clouds, beautiful clouds that are basically wind and mountains shaping and developing these cloud formations, these odd spaceship-like clouds that typically form over the hills, over mountains. And it's really just strong winds that we have had presence of over the last few days. Over the top of this, a persistent area of high pressure that is now dominating the UK and Ireland weather pattern. Gone is the rainy first half of May. We are certainly ending meteorological spring on a very dry note versus what we've seen over the last 3 months or so. But thanks to Lisa for sharing this amazing image on Twitter last night of these beautiful clouds. Also some quite spectacular sunsets. Now, I do know that there has been presence of wildfire smoke all the way from Canada getting transported across the continent, North Atlantic, and over the UK and Ireland airspace, thanks to the jet stream, which is quite up and down at the moment. Weak in some places, a little bit stronger in other places. Quite a blocked up area of high pressure, of course, centered over the western portion of the UK. So basically over the northeast Atlantic, extending into the UK, keeping us fine and dry, producing flash flooding across parts of not only Italy but also Spain. And of course, that is quite the difference to what we've seen in the last few months across Iberia with the drought, of course. Be interesting to see what takes place as we progress through the month of June, actually. So thanks to Lisa for sharing this. We are taking these baby steps into the summer season, of course. The UK maximum so far for 2023 is only just over 23 Celsius, recorded a couple of days ago in Bude Park in Cardiff. And I think it's Bude or Bude, I can't remember which. I do apologise for that. But you can see here over recent times, the 23 is a far cry compared to what we experienced even in 2021. We had 25. Last year we had as high as 27, 2020, 28, 2018. 29 Celsius. So yes, it is very much subpar for the time of the year, and certainly when I talked about a possibility of warmer conditions as we progress into the month of June, I'm not hyping that up. It is expected that we would typically start to warm things up at this time of the year, of course, and with that area of high pressure to the north of Europe versus lower pressure across the south, you do expect temperatures to start to respond. But it's all about the position of the high, of course. Get it to the west, you draw in northwesterly winds. Get it to the east, and you're starting to pull in air from the Mediterranean and, of course, Iberia. But we don't have a great deal of warm air down across Iberia and the Mediterranean at the moment, anyway. This is the current temperature. So we have got a noteworthy temperature difference between the north and south of Scandinavia, if you notice here. We'll look at that in just a second. But 25, 26 Celsius right on the Baltic Sea coast versus only 8, 9 Celsius. Now, it's all thanks to an area of low pressure, quite a deep area of low pressure at 970, 969 millibars over the northern portion of the Norwegian Sea. That is bringing some fairly cold air around the southern flank of that area of low pressure, so to say, and that is keeping things rather chilly across northern Norway, Sweden, and Finland, where we're actually seeing mountain snow as well. But as those winds are kind of downsloping the mountains further north and west, we're actually getting a little bit of a firn effect and the warmest temperatures then are right up against the coast, kind of a west to northwesterly airflow crossing this landmass here, of course, of Norway and Sweden. You warm things up, just like we see here in the UK, depending on the wind direction, of course. But yeah, we have got quite interesting things going on at the moment. So modest warmth through the Mediterranean at the moment. We've got an area of cool over Germany. Of course, in recent days we've seen temperatures close to 30 Celsius here. So a bit of a difference once again. Quite this back and forth really going on. Temperatures only stuck in the mid-teens at best across Germany at the moment here. Yeah, even the high teens just across northern France and the Paris area. 25, 26, no great shakes for the end of May across southwestern portions of Iberia. And of course, we've got temperatures into the low 20s down into Greece, southern portions of Italy. Mark Kinish is back from Malta. He says the temperatures were no better than 21 or 22 Celsius, with periodic rain, even some localized flash flooding as well. So it has been a pretty messy picture down across this region of the world. It looks as if we're going to maintain that as we go into the month of June and the first month of meteorological summer, of course. So the big contrast across Scandinavia, as you can see here, warm temperatures, mid, even high 20s into the western portion of Ukraine, Lithuania, Latvia. This region here has a pocket of fairly warmer associated with the area of high pressure that we've got at the moment here. Temperatures into the 30s, actually, closer to the Caspian Sea, where we've had some fairly record-breaking warm temperatures in recent times. So let's have a look at the latest run of the GFS. We've got this battle, this tug of war, but overall, it looks as if for the month of June, we are going to see high pressure across the northern half of the British Isles, keeping things warmer and indeed drier than average further south through the central Med and even to the southwest of the UK. And this is what I said in the summer forecast. So check that out. Check out the video I published as well on Monday, kind of giving you a brief idea, a brief summary, the highlights of what I expect to see this upcoming summer season. I did say that we may have an area of low pressure close to the Bay of Biscay to the southwest of the UK and Ireland that may enhance some instability, especially across more southern areas of the UK, closer to the area of high pressure to the north. Scotland, Northern Ireland, even Northern England should see slightly warmer and drier than average conditions during the month of June. So this is off the CFSV2. This is for the month of June, the 500 millibar geopotential height anomalies here. Rainfall wise, this is what it's looking like. No surprise really. With high pressure to the north, drier than average. Low pressure to the south, wetter than average. And this is a fairly wet start of the summer season across the southern portions of Europe. Almost the complete opposite of what we've seen, of course, last year. Temperature-wise, well, the model quite often leans on the warm side of things, and it certainly is no exception in June. You can see here firmly above average, slightly below average across parts of Iberia. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a more firmer blue here across not only Iberia but the other parts of southern Europe with this type of setup that I expect to see taking place as we go through the month of June here. So we'll wait and see when all things are said and done, of course. This is the 850 temperatures off the GFS. This is off weathercharts.com. And of course, you've got that deep area of low pressure at 970 millibars, pulling air off Greenland across the Norwegian Sea into the northern half of Scandinavia here, bringing some chilly temperatures and snowfall as well as rain at low levels. As we progress through the next few days here, Thursday into Friday, that colder air will sink south. It's going to bring a drop in temperatures to more southern portions of Norway, Sweden, and Finland here. Of course, you've got a little bit of fresh air riding around the top of this area of high pressure. Temperatures, like I say, at best, closer to the centre of high pressure, which is going to be parts of South Wales, the southwest of England, southern Ireland. This is where the warmest temperatures are going to be over the next few days. And you see here a little bit of warmer air now starting to develop over central Spain, as you can see. Continuing to play through this latest run of the GFS, you can see what happens. We've got an area of low pressure that moves through Iceland. That is actually forcing the centre of that high to weaken to the eastern flank, reforms the centre further west, and it opens the door to this colder plunge of air over and just to the east of the British Isles, as you can see here. So you've got this first push of colder air, then you've got a secondary push. You get the area of high pressure becoming a little bit more centered over the northern half of the British Isles. And look at this here, we've got this colder air coming down out of Scandinavia through central portions of Europe. And that's quite interesting to see. And this is what I highlighted yesterday. And I have to say that we need to take operational models with a pinch of salt, of course. But this is a little bit more of a trend now starting to show, where once we get this maybe 1-2 waves of colder air, so we don't expect to see a big uptick in temperature, of course, but it looks as if we do have this little bit of a surge of milder air starting to kind of subtly move out of Central Europe and into the UK and Ireland. Now, with sunshine and an east to southeasterly airflow in early June, that's when you would typically start to see the temperatures really start to creep up. So what I would expect to see, if this was to happen, I would expect to see the surface temperatures to rise towards the mid 20s, with this type of setup. That's not a heat wave. It's nothing unusual. You would expect to see this in a typical June warm spell. Mid to upper 20s is nothing. But it certainly would be encouraging signs that we're finally starting to kind of break out. Do we see this all of a sudden? This just a disappearance of of cooler conditions, and we're in the summer warmth. Well, certainly the GFS is pointing to more colder air coming down from the north. So we've got this kind of battle, this tug of war. And like I said before, it all depends on the position of that high pressure system. Certainly, drier conditions has taken us out of the month of May, out of meteorological spring, and beginning meteorological summer, of course. So do check out the website. Check my Facebook and Twitter pages, of course. I do have regular updates. And indeed, if you haven't already done so, do check out Richie on Tour. If you're interested in real estate, supercars, jets, helicopters, some really cool stuff in this channel. And I do encourage you to check it out if you're interested in this kind of stuff, and give Richie a subscription. Of course, it's free on YouTube, so you're not having to pay for anything. So anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow with more. Stay tuned. Bye for now.